The chains on my wrists were cold. The hall was colder. They walked me to the front of it like a debt being paid. "This is the tribute?" the enemy Alpha said. "You send me your weakest." My own uncle didn't flinch. "She has no wolf, no worth. Take her and call the war ended." 300 wolves watched. Not one of them was mine. And goddess help me, some small stupid part of me still hoped one of them would speak up. None ever had. None did now. I had one thing left. A thin silver chain under my collar, my mother's. The only thing they never took. I closed my hand around it and lifted my chin. And the enemy Alpha went still. He crossed the floor. He did not look at my empty hands or my plain gray dress. He looked at the chain. His voice dropped so low, only I heard it. Where did a throwaway bride get a dead queen's mark? The whole hall waited for him to laugh. He didn't. He unclasped his own cloak and set it over my shoulders, heavy, warm, smelling of pine and snow, like I was the one thing in that room worth keeping. 12 years my pack told me I was nothing. Now the most feared Alpha King on the border was kneeling to fasten a cloak at my throat, and every wolf who had mocked me had gone white. Was I his prize? Or was I the queen they buried alive to steal a crown? I didn't know yet. But he did. Chapter 1. The morning they gave me away, my uncle made me polish the boots I would leave in. "Kneel straight," Varric said. "You represent this pack." "I thought I embarrassed this pack," I said. He backhanded me without looking. That was Varric. Even his cruelty was tidy. I was Nessa. 24 winters, a servant in the house that should have been my mother's. I slept in the washroom off the kitchen. I woke before the fires. I carried water until my hands split. And I wore a plain gray dress because gray was the color of things nobody sees. And I had no wolf. That was the great shame of me. Every wolf in Greywater Pack shifted by their 15th winter. I never did. My skin stayed my skin. When the pack ran under the moon, I stayed behind and counted their empty cups. "Wolfless," they whispered. "Broken, a debt her father left us." I let them think it. It was safer than the truth, which was that I did not know the truth either. I only knew the collar. It sat at my throat under my dress, a band of black iron, thin as a finger, that Varric Smith had locked on me the night my parents drowned. I was 12. I remembered the water, and the cold, and my mother's hand losing mine. I remembered waking with the collar on and Varric standing over me. "You'll wear this until you learn your place," he had said. I never learned it, so I never took it off. "Stand up," Varric said now. "The escort is here." I stood. My knees ached. Through the window I could see the sledges in the yard and the banners of a pack that was not ours. "Where are you sending me?" "North," he said. "To Dravos." The name landed in the room like a dropped blade. Dravos, the border pack. The one we had been at war with for 6 years. The one whose Alpha, they said, had killed his way to the crown and never once smiled doing it. "You're giving me to the enemy," I said. "I'm ending a war," Varric said, "with the one thing this pack won't miss." He smoothed his coat. He always smoothed his coat when he lied. And I had watched him lie my whole life, so I knew the tell better than I knew my own face. "Uncle," I said slowly. "Why me?"
Cannot fail.
For one breath, something moved behind his eyes. Fear, maybe, or hunger.
Cannot stay here.
I could never tell them apart on him. "Because you were given to us," he said. "You were never chosen. You never will be." He left me there, and the words sat on my chest like the collar, heavy and cold and locked. I pressed my hand to the chain under the iron, the one thing Varric had never found. Because a 12-year-old learns fast to hide the only warm thing she owns. My mother's chain. A small silver disc, worn smooth, with a mark I had traced 10,000 times and never understood. Given, I thought. Not chosen. I did not know yet that I was about to walk into the one room in the world where that would stop being true. Chapter 2. The treaty hall at Dravos was carved from black stone and lit by 100 torches, and it smelled of pine and iron and snow. I want to tell you I walked in brave. I didn't. I walked in the way you walk toward cold water, small steps, held breath. They lined me up at the front like a coin on a table. This is the tribute? The Alpha said. You send me your weakest. You know this part. You were there for it. The chain, the stillness, the cloak. But here is what the hall did not see. When he knelt to fasten the cloak, his hands stopped at my throat. Not on the chain, on the collar under it. His knuckle brushed the black iron and he went rigid, the way a man goes rigid when he touches something that should not exist. Who put this on you? He said. Very quiet. My uncle, I said. When I was 12. Do you know what it is? Iron, I said, for a broken wolf. His jaw worked. It isn't iron, he said. And you aren't broken. Then he stood, and he was the enemy again, tall, black-haired, a scar through one eyebrow, eyes the pale gold of a winter dawn. Cain Dravos, the Alpha King who never smiled. The war is ended, he told the hall. The tribute is accepted. Greywater's escort may go home. Varric's man bowed and left, glad to be gone. And I stood in a stranger's cloak in a stranger's hall, and realized I had been handed from one cage to another, and the only difference was that this one smelled better. Walk with me, Cain said. I walked. I did not have a choice, and I was tired of pretending choices were things I got. The corridor was long and cold. An old woman fell into step behind us, gray-braided, kind-faced, a healer's satchel at her hip. This is Marrow, Cain said. She'll see to you. I don't need seeing to. You've got split hands and a locked throat, and you've eaten nothing since dawn. Marrow said gently. Hush, child. Let an old woman fuss. I let her. Goddess help me. It had been 12 years since anyone fussed, and I was so starved for it I could have wept. That was my first mistake, trusting the soft voice. Alpha, I said to Cain's back. Why did you accept me? You wanted his strongest. You got his trash. He stopped. He turned. And for 1 second, the winter dawn eyes were not cold at all. I didn't accept a tribute, he said. I recognized one. Then he was gone down the black corridor, and I stood there with a warm cloak and a cold collar and no idea at all what he meant. Behind me, Marrow smiled. He likes you, she said. I should have asked how a stranger could tell. I should have asked a great many things. Instead, I followed her into the warm. Chapter 3. They gave me a room with a fire in it. I stood in the doorway a long time. A fire. For me, I did not know where to put my hands. It's just a room, Marrow said, folding blankets. Sit, eat. There was bread on the table. Real bread, dark and warm, with butter melting into it. I ate it too fast and was ashamed and ate more anyway. Cain came at dusk. He knocked. That undid me more than the fire, the enemy Alpha, knocking at a door he owned. May I come in? It's your keep. It's your room, he said, and stayed in the doorway until I nodded. He set a small iron key on the table. For the door. Locks from the inside. No one comes in that you don't let in. Not even me. I stared at the key. Why? Because someone locked something on you when you were 12, he said. And I'd rather you had a lock that answers to you. I picked up the key. It was cold and plain, and it was the first thing anyone had given me and meant it. You keep saying things like they mean more than they do, I said. The collar isn't iron. You didn't accept me. You recognized me. Say it plain or stop saying it. He pulled out the chair across from me and sat, and the firelight caught the scar through his brow. You want it plain, he said. I want it plain. Then eat while I talk, because it's a long story and you're too thin. I ate. He talked. 6 years ago, I took this pack in a bad season, Cain said. My father before me spent 30 years in a border war with your Greywater. Over a mine, everyone said, silver and wolfsbane, up in the Moonmere hills. But my mother told me a different story before she died. What story? That the war didn't start over a mine. It started over a drowning. The bread went dry in my mouth. There was a third pack once, Kane said. The Moonmere line. Old blood. Older than mine or yours. They held the hills and the mine and the neutral water between our lands. Then, one winter, their whole ruling family drowned crossing that water. Every one of them. And the two packs who'd wanted their land for 100 years carved it up between them before the ice even melted. That's just history. It's a very tidy history, Kane said. That's what always bothered my mother. She said no whole family drowns by accident. She said someone opens the ice. He leaned forward. She said the Moonmere heirs wore a silver disc, a moon over water, and she made me promise that if I ever saw that mark on a living throat, I would not let it drown twice. The room went very quiet. The fire snapped. My hand went to the chain without my telling it to. Show me, Kane said. Not a command. A plea. Almost. Please. Just the chain. I don't know why I did it. 12 years I had hidden it. But there is a particular loneliness that makes you reckless, and I had been lonely my whole life. I drew it out. The small silver disc turned in the firelight. A moon. Over water. Kane did not move. When he spoke, his voice had gone rough. Say your mother's name, he said. Liz. I whispered. Her name was Liz. He closed his eyes like a man in pain. Liz of Moonmere had a daughter, he said. Age 12, the winter of the drowning, the body was never found. The fire snapped again. Somewhere far off, a wolf howled, and I felt the sound in my locked throat like a key turning that could not quite catch. No, I said. No, I'm nothing. Ask anyone. I'm the debt. I'm the trash. You're the one they couldn't drown, Kane said. So they collared instead. And for the first time in 12 years, I did not feel broken. I felt buried. Chapter 4. I did not sleep. I sat by the fire with the key in one fist and the chain in the other, and let the whole shape of my life turn over. Given, not chosen. A debt. Wolfless, or hidden. Erased, a girl worth murdering an entire family to be rid of and worth collaring when the murder didn't take. Toward dawn, Kane knocked again. He brought tea this time, and he did the thing I would come to love him for before I ever admitted I loved him at all. He sat on the floor by the hearth like a boy, not a king, and he let me be angry. I want to hear about your mother, I said, the one who made you promise. Here is the part he told me himself, long after, in the dark. I'll give it to you the way he gave it to me. My mother was small, Kane said, smaller than you. My father was a mountain of a man, and she used to flick him on the ear when he growled at the council, and he let her, because she was the only creature alive who was never once afraid of him. He turned the teacup in his big hands. She wasn't Dravos blood. She came from the drowned pack, a cousin, low in the line, married north before the ice took the rest. She spent her whole life certain her family had been murdered, and certain no one would ever believe a woman with no proof. When she was dying, she took my hand, and she said, Kane, you will be a hard king. Be hard. But if the moon ever gives back what the water took, you be soft for that one thing. You promise me. He looked up at me. I've broken a lot of things, Kane said. I've never broken a promise to her. I had spent my whole life learning to want nothing, because wanting was just a slower way to be hurt. And this man had spent his whole life waiting to be soft for exactly one person, and the water had given him me. You don't know it's me, I said, because I was terrified it was. A chain isn't proof. No, he agreed, the chain isn't proof. He set down the cup. The collar is. You keep saying the collar isn't iron. May I? He nodded at my throat. I lifted my chin. He leaned close enough that I could feel the warmth of him, close enough that my pulse jumped without asking my permission, and he laid 2 fingers against the black band. He hissed and pulled back like he'd touched a stove. Wolfsbane, he said. Silver and wolfsbane worked into the iron. That's not a punishment collar, Nessa. That's a muzzle. Your wolf isn't gone. She's poisoned quiet. Every day for 12 years. His jaw tightened. You were never broken. You were being held under. I put my hand over his without deciding to. His fingers were warm at my throat. Mine were cold over his. Take it off, I breathed. I can't, he said, and I heard how much it cost him to say it. Not here. Not by force will spring the wolf's bane and it could stop your heart. It needs the right hand and the right unlocking, and I need to find out who forged it and how. But I swear to you, his voice dropped, you will take your first breath as your whole self before the winter ends. On my mother's grave. We stayed like that a moment too long. His hand at my throat. Mine over his. Neither of us moving. Then he cleared his throat and stood and became the Alpha King again. And I let him. Because I understood now that we were both people who had learned to armor fast. There's a council in 3 days, he said at the door. Your uncle sent envoys to confirm the peace. They'll want to see the tribute alive and grateful. And what do? He almost smiled. It didn't quite land, but I saw where a smile would go, and my chest did something complicated. You be grateful, Kane said. For now. Let them think the collar still holds. Let them think you're nothing. I've had practice, I said. I know, he said, and the 2 words were so gentle they hurt. That's the part I mean to fix. Chapter 5. I fell for Kane Dravos the way you fall through ice, not all at once, but in 100 small cracks. Here are the ones I kept. The first crack, he ate with me. Not at a high table. In the kitchen, at dawn, both of us stealing the first bread before the keep woke. You'll get caught, I whispered. I'm the king, Kane said, tearing the loaf in half. Who's going to tell on me? The cook. The cook leaves 2 loaves out on purpose. He pressed the bigger half into my hands. Has for a week. Since you came. She thinks I don't notice. I looked at the bread, then at him. You told her to. I told her nothing. His ears went faintly red. I may have mentioned you eat like someone who's counting. I do count. I said, everything. It's a hard habit to lose. Then don't lose it tonight. He sat on the flour sacks like a boy. Count this one. 1 warm loaf. 1 quiet kitchen. 1 person who isn't going to take it back. I ate the bread. It was warm all the way through. You steal from your own kitchen, I said. The most feared Alpha King on the border. It tastes better stolen, Kane said. My mother taught me that too. The second crack, I saw him with his warriors. He was hard with them. Cold. Exact. And then a young scout came in half frozen from a border run, and Kane wrapped his own cloak around the boy and stood there rubbing warmth into the kid's shoulders like a father, and thought no one was watching. I was watching. The third crack, he lied badly. For a feared king, Kane Dravos could not tell a soft lie to save his life. When I asked him why he'd assigned 4 guards to a wolfless tribute, he said protocol, and his ears went red. And I laughed for the first time in years, a real laugh, surprised out of me. You're guarding me, I said. Protocol, he said again, redder. From what? The red drained out of him. From the man who collared a child and drowned a family, he said. Nessa, your uncle didn't send you here to end a war. Think, why give me his strongest asset for peace? He gave me the one thing he was terrified to keep close. He sent you to enemy ground so that when you die, it's my hand on the blade in the story, and his crown stays clean. The kitchen went cold around the warm. Then why keep me alive? I said. Wouldn't it be easier to be the villain he wants? Kane crossed the room. He did not touch me. He never touched me without asking. I would learn that was the whole shape of him. Because a hard king who breaks every rule made himself one promise, he said. And she's standing in front of him with her mother's moon at her throat, telling me she's nothing. His voice cracked, just once. You are the least nothing thing I have ever seen. I should have kissed him then. I wanted to. My body was leaning before my mind agreed. But the fourth crack came first, and it was the one that undid me most, because it happened in front of witnesses. It was the War Council. I was supposed to stand at the back, silent, the grateful tribute. His captains argued over a grain route. The Greywater Raiders kept burning. 2 of them wanted to send 40 wolves to guard the road. That's what he wants, I said. The whole table went quiet. A gray, bearded captain turned. The tribute has an opinion? The tribute grew up in that pack, I said. Varric doesn't burn the road for the grain. He burns it to see who comes running. Send 40 wolves, and he counts your 40. Send none, and burn a decoy cart yourself. He'll waste a month watching a road you already gave up. Silence. The captain looked at Kane, waiting for the king to put the servant girl back in her place. Kane leaned back in his chair. Do it her way, he said. Alpha, you heard her. He didn't raise his voice. He never had to. She knows the man. We don't. Decoy cart at dawn. No wolves on the road. They filed out. I stood there with my heart going too fast. You didn't have to do that, I said. They'll think the king listens to the smartest person in the room, Kane said. Which he does. He gathered his maps. Nessa, when was the last time someone did what you said? I had to think about it. That was the terrible part. I actually had to think. I don't know, I said finally. I'm not sure anyone ever has. He stopped gathering the maps. Get used to it, he said quietly, and left me standing in an empty council hall, feeling the ground move under 12 years of being told to be quiet. That was when I knew I was in trouble. Not because he was powerful. Because he was the first person who ever handed me any. I was still turning it over the next morning when the door banged open, and Marrow was there, breathless, kind-faced, wringing her hands. The Greywater envoys, she said. They've come early, child. They're in the hall. And they're asking for you by name. I went cold in a new way. Because I had never told anyone at Dravos my name was on any list. And Marrow had called me child 100 times, but she had never, until this moment, looked afraid of the people she was announcing. I filed it away. I didn't understand it yet. I would. Goddess, I would. Chapter 6. The Greywater envoy was a man named Kor, and my uncle's ring was on his finger. The tribute looks well fed, Kor said, circling me in the hall. Uncle Varric will be pleased. The piece is so comfortable she's cared for, Kane said from the dice. Flat, cold, the Alpha King mask perfect. Of course. And the collar? Kor's eyes went to my throat. Still secure? Varric was most particular. It's a family heirloom. Delicate work. He'd hate to hear it had been tampered with. The whole room heard the threat under it. If the collar comes off, we'll know you learned what she is. It's secure, I said. My voice came out steady. 12 years of hiding is good for one thing. I could lie with my whole face. It's the only thing my uncle ever gave me. I wouldn't part with it. Kor smiled, satisfied, grateful girl. Very, I said. He came close then, too close, and dropped his voice to a hiss only Kane and I could hear. He wants you to know something, little Det. Kor breathed. The Moonmere mine floods this spring. The old workings. Whatever the water took down there 12 years ago stays down there forever. Do you understand me? I understood him perfectly. The crown. The proof. My family's bodies. Varric was going to flood the drowned mine and erase the last evidence that Moonmere had ever ruled, and me with it, if he could. I understand, I said sweetly, that you talk too much. Kor's hand shot out and closed around my throat. He meant to frighten me. He got half a heartbeat. Then Kane was there. I did not see him cross the hall. One moment Kor's hand was at my throat, and the next Kor was on his knees on the black stone, with his arm bent the wrong way, and Kane's voice was the quietest, most terrible thing I have ever heard. You put your hand on her, Kane said, in my hall. Alpha the peace, tell Varric the peace holds, Kane said. Tell him the tribute is alive and grateful, and mine to protect, and tell him if any hand but mine touches this throat again, There will be no mine left to flood, because I will have salted his whole valley by spring. He let Cor go. Cor fled. The hall emptied. And in the ringing quiet, I realized Cain's hand had come to rest where Cor's had been, but open, gentle, his thumb along my jaw, checking, not taking. Did he hurt you? No, Nessa. His forehead came down against mine. His breath was ragged. I felt it. When his hand closed on you, I felt it in my chest like it was my own throat. That doesn't happen for a stranger. I knew what he was saying. My locked wolf knew it too. Something behind the poison stirred and strained toward him, and couldn't reach. The bond, I said. The bond, he agreed. The moon gave you back to me. I'm not going to let the water have you twice. I lifted my face. He was right there. The whole slow winter of small cracks came to a point. I kissed him. He made a sound like a man who'd been holding his breath for 6 years. And then his arms came around me careful, always careful, like I was the one thing worth keeping, and for one perfect minute there was no collar. No crown, no drowned mine. Just his mouth on mine and his hand cradling the back of my head in the fire, warm, and the door locked from the inside with my own iron key. When we broke apart, I was crying and laughing at once. That, Cain said, unsteady, was worth waiting 6 years for. You didn't know it was going to be me for 6 years. No, he said. But my mother did. Chapter 7. The betrayal came wearing a kind face and a healer's satchel. It was Marrow who brought me the wine that night. To settle you, she said, patting my hand. You've had a fright. I almost drank it. I lifted the cup, and I saw, in the firelight, the ring under the cuff of her sleeve, small, plain, silver, greywater silver. Varrick's smith mark. I set the cup down very carefully. Marrow, I said, how long have you worked for my uncle? The kind face did not change all at once. It changed the way ice changes slow, and then complete. 20 years, Marrow said quietly. Since before you were born, child. I was Moonmere's healer once. I was in the boat the night your family crossed the water. Her old eyes were wet and terrible. I was the one who opened the ice. The fire roared in my ears. Varrick promised me my grandsons would live if I helped him, she said. So I drowned a pack of 30. And I couldn't do it to the child. So I put the collar on you instead, and I told him you'd be no threat with your wolf muzzled. I have watched you every day for 12 years to make sure you stayed nothing. A tear fell, and then he sent you here to die, and he sent me with you to make sure of it. This wine, child. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired of the killing. Then don't, I said. Marrow, don't. He has my grandsons. Cain will get them out. Cain salts valleys for people who touch my throat. Marrow, imagine what he does for children. I took the old murderer's shaking hands in mine, and I don't know where the mercy came from except that I had spent my whole life being the thing people threw away, and I did not want to become someone who threw away. Help me instead. Tell me how the collar comes off. Tell me before the mine floods, and I will stand between your grandsons and my uncle with my whole body. On my mother's moon. Marrow wept, and Marrow chose. The mine, she said. It has to come off in the mine. The lock is Moonmere, blooded, only the water where your line drowned will open it. Wolfsbane needs living water to leach out safe. That's why he's flooding it. He's destroying the one place on earth that can free you. She gripped my hands. And he's doing it at dawn. Child, he's doing it at dawn. And Cain's scouts say Varrick's wolves are already at the old workings. I was at the door before she finished. Cain was in the war room. I told him all of it in one breath: the ice, the collar, the mine, the flood, the dawn. He was already reaching for his sword. You'll stay here, he said. Behind the locked door. I'll take the mine and cut the floodgate and bring you the water in a barrel if I have to, Cain. It's wolfsbane and silver and armed wolves, Nessa. I am not walking you into a poison mine, Cain. I took his face in my hands, the way his mother must have taken his father's. Whose hand unlocks a Moonmere collar? He stopped. A Moonmere hand, he said slowly. In living Moonmere water. Then you can't do this without me, I said. The one thing they collared me for. The one thing that made me worthless. It's the only key there is. He pressed his forehead to mine, furious and undone. I hate that you're right, he said. I've been right my whole life, I said. Nobody was listening. Start now. Chapter 8. We rode through the dark to the Moonmere Hills, and the sky was going gray at the edges when we reached the mine. Varric was already there. He stood at the top of the old floodgate, a great iron wheel that would open the mountain's water into the workings below, with 40 wolves at his back and my mother's whole world under his boots. He had aged. He still smoothed his coat when he lied. He smoothed it now. Niece, he called down. You should have drunk the wine. Marrow sends her regrets, I said. She's done killing for you. His face flickered. Behind me, Cain's warriors spread along the ridge, silent, gold-eyed in the dark. Cain himself stood at my shoulder, and his presence was a wall at my back, and I had never in my life had a wall at my back before. Open the gate, Varric ordered his wolves. Flood it. Now, bury it all again. Wait. My voice carried further than I expected. It carried like my mother's must have. Uncle, one question. In front of your wolves. In front of the Alpha King. Say it plain. I stepped into the gray light where they could all see me. Why did you have to drown a whole family to steal one crown? The withheld answer. The thing the whole war had been built to keep buried. Varric's wolves shifted. Some of them were old enough to remember. I watched the question land on them. Because that crown was never yours to wear. Varric snarled, and there it was. The truth, out in the open air at last. Moonmere held the mine and the water, and lorded it over both packs for 100 years. And I ended them. And I would end you 100 times over, you collared little that's a confession, Cain said, mild as winter. 40 witnesses. Varric understood too late what I'd done. I hadn't come to plead. I'd come to make him say it out loud, where his own wolves could hear who he really was. He threw his weight on the flood wheel. The mountain groaned. Water black, freezing, living Moonmere water roared down into the workings below in a white flood. Nessa Cain roared. I was already running. Here is the thing they never understood about making a girl worthless. They spend so long telling her she's nothing, that they forget nothing can walk through anything. Varric's wolves lunged for me, and their bodies hit the wolfsbane haze pouring off the flooded workings, and staggered, choking their wolves recoiled from the poison. But I had breathed poison every day for 12 years. It was the air I was raised on. The collar had made me immune to the one thing guarding my own grave. I ran through the wolfsbane they couldn't cross. I ran down into the flooding dark. And where the black water rose cold around my knees, living water, my family's water. The water that took my mother's hand from mine, I knelt, and I put my collared throat under, and I said the only prayer I knew, which was her name. Liz, I said. Mother, I'm not staying down here. The water touched the collar. The wolfsbane leached out into the water where it belonged. The loch Moonmere blooded, waiting 12 years for a living Moonmere throat, in living Moonmere water clicked. The black iron fell away into the flood. And my wolf 12 years muzzled, 12 years held under came up out of me like the moon coming up over water. I want to tell you what it is to shift for the first time at 24, after a lifetime of being told you had nothing to shift into. It is grief, and it is homecoming, and it is a howl that has been locked in your chest since you were 12 tearing loose all at once. It is your mother's blood remembering itself. I came up out of the flood a great pale wolf, silver as the disc at my throat, and the wolfsbane could not touch me, and Varric's wolves took one look at what rose from the drowned mine and knew exactly what they had helped murder, and ran. Varric did not run. Varric stood frozen on the flood wheel, and for the first time in my whole life I watched his tidy cruelty fail him. I did not kill him. I want you to know that. A queen doesn't need to. I climbed out of the water on 4 silver legs, and I walked to the base of his gate, and Cain came down the ridge to stand beside me, with his sword drawn and his eyes wet. And the 40 witnesses who had heard Varric confess to murdering the rightful line looked at the silver Moonmere wolf risen from the grave he'd tried to flood, and they knelt. Every one of them. To me, Varric's own wolves knelt to the girl he called a debt. "Take him," Cain said quietly. "Alive, he'll answer to a full council of 3 packs for a drowned family and a collared child. And someone free the healer's grandsons from Greywater before he can spite them. Go." They took him. He did not smooth his coat. There was nothing left to lie to. Epilogue. I shifted back on the ridge as the sun came up, and Cain was there with his cloak, the same heavy pine and snow cloak from the treaty hall, and he wrapped it around my shoulders and fastened it at my bare throat. My throat. No iron. No chain hidden under a collar. Just my mother's silver moon, out in the open, in the sun, where it should have been my whole life. "You could take it, you know," Cain said. "The Moonmere crown. The mine. The hills. It's yours by blood. 3 packs would kneel. You could rule the whole border." I looked at the drowned mine going gold in the dawn, at the water that had held my family and finally given me back. "I don't want the crown," I said. "No? They buried a queen to dig a crown," I said. "I'm not going to spend my life on the thing they killed for." I turned to him. "Cain, my whole life I was given, handed off. A debt, a tribute, a thing traded to end a war. I was never once chosen, and I was never once asked what I wanted. So ask yourself now," he said softly. "What does Nessa of Moonmere want? Here is the grovel, if you want to call it that, though it wasn't him on his knees. It was him laying down the one thing a hard king never surrenders." He took a step back. He did not reach for me. "I've broken every rule I ever made," Cain said. "I collared no one, but I've killed my way to a crown, and I've been hard when I should have been kind. And the one soft promise I kept my whole life led me straight to you. I won't hand you off. I won't trade you for a piece. I won't tell you to stay." He opened his hands. "Stay, and you're my Luna, and my equal, and the only creature I'll ever be soft for. Walk north to your own crown, and I won't follow. I'll just spend the rest of my life glad the water gave you back at all. It was always your choice. It has been from the second you lifted your chin in my hall. I only wanted to be the first person who let you make it." He waited. He did not step toward me, so I stepped toward him. "You said I was given, never chosen," I said, and I put my hand flat on his chest, over the heart that had felt Kor's hand on my throat. "You were wrong about one thing, Uncle." Cain huffed a laugh. "I'm not your uncle." "No," I said. "You're the first thing in my whole life that was mine to choose, and I choose you, not the crown, not the mine. You." He kissed me in the gold light with the drowned mine giving up its dead behind us and his cloak warm at my open throat, and somewhere far off Marrow's grandsons were being carried out of Greywater into the morning, and the war that had cost 30 lives and stolen 12 years of mine was over, not with a tribute, but with a choice. We went home to Dravos that evening, his hand in mine, the fire warm, the door that locked from the inside standing open, because I didn't need it anymore. And on the coldest night that winter, I stood in the kitchen at dawn and stole the first loaf of bread, and the Alpha King, who never smiled, came in behind me and caught me at it, and he smiled. He smiled like a man who'd been keeping it 20 years for exactly one person. "It tastes better stolen," I told him. "My mother," he started. "Taught you that," I finished. "I know. Tell me again. Tell me all of them. We've got the whole rest of our lives." And we did. For the first time in 12 years, I wasn't the girl they buried. I was the one the moon gave back. And I was home. So tell me, if you'd been Nessa, standing in that flood with the collar finally off, would you have taken the crown they killed your whole family for? Or would you have walked away from it, the way she did, and chosen the person instead of the power? I go back and forth. Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. If this story warmed you tonight, there are dozens more just like it waiting for you. And the next full story is every bit as good, no cliffhangers, ever. Just a complete story you can fall asleep to. Stay warm out there, keep your door locked from the inside. And I'll see you next time. Much love from Velvet Storyhouse.